Your dissertation will get started. Please set your mobile phone to cellular, and it is not relevant to the picture as available during this events set to have already have information about space strategy since the process. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings for all of us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I declare this dissertation event is started. This dissertation event is held to give opportunity to candidate Dr. Hanto Yananto to deliver his dissertation which is titled Improving Decision-Making Process in Oil and Gas Development by a Context-Based Development Process. An answer question or defend his dissertation against critics of human institution. And the doctor has been doing his dissertation under supervision of team of promoter experts. First, Professor Dr. Thomas and from FDC promoter. Those microscience and PhD from FDB as co-promoter. While the extending of dissertation is going to the SC PhD from FDB, Santi Mohali as the PhD from FDB, and Dr. Eddie Hamdi from Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, next I will ask the chief promoter, Professor Dr. to deliver the of and then from there I will be completely regarding the sentence of this presentation.
Thank you very much, Professor. Homopendus is born in Samarinda, on January 8, 1976. Homopendus held bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from Trisakti University, 1999, and master degree in assistant management from ATP, School Technology Bandung in 2002, and also master degree in petroleum engineering from Institute Technology Bandung in 2014. Today, Homopendus has been a doctoral student at ESF Doctor of Science and Management at ITB since 2018. Homopendus has around 21 years of experience in oil and gas industry with several companies such as PT Tripatra, PT West Java Limited, PT XTONWG, and PT Pertamina Hulu. Homopendus is currently working as a senior expert production and operation at PT Pertamina Hulu Energy for the past 4 years. Homopendus has high interest and will his competence in decision making, improving decision making process in oil and gas development by a context-based capital value process or CVP that Homopendus decided to pick up as his doctoral research topic. Homopendus has identified that PhD as a state-owned enterprise is a complex organization that tends to be state, hierarchical, and bureaucratic. Long dynamic investment stage often result in the postponement of oil and gas development project, resulting in the loss of yearly production possibilities and an increase in capital expenditure. Therefore, Homopendus seeks a solution to overcome this problem. Homopendus' intellectual journey in ESM SBM ITB has introduced subsystem methodology or SSM. Homopendus become passionate for SSM and convinced that SSM could be the answer to overcome failures in implementing existing capital value process. SSM is supposed to iterate and change process approach to implement CVP through this research. Using SSM as a methodological research, define from values to aim theoretical conceptual by developing new conceptual model for the capital value process of oil and gas development, methodological by proposing a combination between SSM and tangible system dynamics, and practical by improving policy practice in the industry. However, an SSM practitioner can fail to fulfill relevant issues and get views in time. SSM result can then become unsatisfactory. To overcome this, from values introduce system dynamics methodology as an additional tool to use with SSM. Movedu's research has proven the benefit of using the combination of SSM and SP framework. Finding has been published in Q2 Scopus Index journal. The dissertation that Movedu's is supposed to present has been published in Q2 Scopus and S2 Index journal. Full. The title is Improving Decision-making process in oil and gas development by contact with capital value process in FPE production and comparison journal. The second is accommodating decision makers needs and preference in oil and gas development enterprise that champion and indicator in business and bureaucracy journal. With the above, the from values is worthy of being promoted in this doctoral open dissemination. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Promoter. Now, could you please invite doctoral candidates to attend to this session? Doctoral candidates, are you healthy enough to perform this dissertation defense? All right. You are given opportunity to present your dissertation research in maximum 25 minutes. It's time for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Thank you very much for the opportunity and given to me the chance to present my dissertation. Good morning to Chairman, Professor Dr. Dermawan Wibisono, and also promoter and co-promoter, Prof. Utomo and Pak Yos, and also the examiner, Pak Gatot, Ibu Santi, and Pak Edi Hamdi. Okay, I will share my screen here. Okay, this is the title of my dissertation, Improving Decision-making Process in Oil and Gas Development by Contact-based Capital Value Process. Okay, this is the timeline that I have been through. Sorry. Okay, so I made 2 cycles of external research. So the first cycle resulting the application, it's starting from 2019 and then end in 2020, and then the second cycle I started in 2020, and the end result is the business process, improving business process, and it is also the second cycle triggered by the holding and subholding reorganization in the corporate. Okay, and below here also the milestone that I have achieved from paper SK1, SK2, and SK3. Okay, this is the executive summary. the purpose of my research is the why, because the long dynamic investment phases often result in the delay of long-term oil and gas development project, leading to loss of early production opportunities and increased capital investment. And also to develop model for improving the decision-making process. The methodology I use, the research demonstrates the application of a combination of action research, soft system methodologies, and system dynamics to improve the decision-making process for oil field development state-owned enterprises. And the finding is reducing the total time for completion, and also some bottlenecks still exist at the middle and the higher levels of decision-making process. In the implication, a significant implication of this finding that management decision-making will be better off if they consider delegating authorities for decision-making of every state. The chapter 1, introduction, it will contain a statement of problem and also context, research question, and also resulting originality. This is the statement of problem. As we can see here, in our company, we have a gate from initiate, select, define, execute, just to make a decision for field development. Okay, so we can see here a bottleneck occur in every gate in DG1, DG2, DG3, and DG4. And as you can see also, this is the organization in the corporation, because we have a holding, sub-holding, and other companies regional, and also zona as the operators. So the economic performance of oil field development is uncertain and is strongly influenced by strategic and operational decision variables such as well placement, scheduling, and oil prices. Times become very crucial because in every oil and gas development, there is a point where it is no longer economical. Because time is very critical, then the bottleneck here will be a very problem in creating decision making. Okay, so this is the explanation about the two cycle of my action research. For the first one, the company where I work, upstream energy company, so it is in the second layer of the management. Okay, previously it was in this level. It held only several area under upstream directorate of the corporate. But after July 2020, when the reorganization, then it become the sub-holding upstream. So the scope will be higher. It is will manage all of sub-holding upstream, which is previously managed by the upstream directorate. Okay, so that's the different business process that part of the research. Okay, UEC plays an essential role in Indonesian economic and energy security, such as the supply of oil and gas to meet most domestic needs. The high risk of oil and gas operation and the ongoing transformation within UEC, as well as the development of the UEC, high levels of bureaucracy within the organization. This is the research question. So how is the business development situation of the decision-making system at UEC? And then the second question, what factors are considered and how the interaction and interrelationship in these factors affect decision-making? And the third question is, how is the conceptual model for improving the decision-making system of business development at UEC? In terms of novelty and originality, I've made three perspective point of view, and then from theoretical conceptual, the research is aimed at novelty by developing a context-based capital value process model for oil and gas business development. It is modified from a Cooper's model, And in terms of methodological, by proposing the SSM-based action research combined with dynamic analysis to solve the complexity of decision-making process in oil and gas state-owned enterprises. And in terms of practical, this research also expected to contribute to practice by improving policy practices in the industry. Chapter 2, in my dissertation, it covers underlying theories, contextual framework, state-of-the-art, kept from literatures, and methodology from previous study. Okay, and this is the underlying theory, the state-gate context-based and scalable by Cooper. So this is the state-gate context-based scalable model from product development. So in here also there are gates similar like the gates that we have in our company, but it is divided into several context-based. So depends on the complexity and also depends on the product that it is going to be produced. So from this model, I try to convert it into our capital value process. So why I choose this? Because construction based on project scale will reduce bottleneck in top decision gate. And this is the contextual framework. So this is the actual capital value process that we have in our company. So it has an initiate, select, define, and execute. So in every gate also has a decision. In initiate, you have a concept, and then screening in select, and then project definition and define, and then the execution. Okay, this is what I have also from the literature, the SSM. As we know that it has a 7 step from comprehending the issue, characterizing the issue, determining the issue, identifying the underlying cause using Catway, constructing conceptual models, comparing models to the actual world with the purpose of identifying desirable and achievable solution, and also taking the necessary action. So it is the common model of SSM from Chakran. And also I try to grab theories from PK. It's a dual imperative action research. He divided into two routes from research interest and also the problem solving interest. Okay. And then I also try to grab the theory from figures at the composition of SSM to show possibility this correction of static. In here, I try to input the system dynamic, CLD and SFD, to compare the real world from the model. So it will be embedded into the SSM that I developed. Okay, from research methodology, the research approach mixed method with philosophical worldview, pragmatism, intel research design that contain operational judgment based on what will work best in discovering answer to the topic under inquiry. This enable research to be conducted in novel and dynamic ways to solve research difficulties. And then the research design is an exploratory sequential mixed method design. The exploratory sequential mixed method approach aims to first collect qualitative data to examine the phenomena, and then the quantitative data to explain the relationship revealed in the qualitative data. Okay, then this is the proposed methodology, the soft system methodology plus system dynamics. So you can see here that I add the dynamic simulation in here from express the problem situation and also from the conceptual model. Okay, so this is the difference between the existing SSM, but it is easily detachable from the existing SSM. Okay, so why SSM with SD? First, to accommodate all stakeholders' need and preference, and also to compare dynamic model of the problematic situation and dynamic model of solving situation. Okay, and then this is the model, the proposed model, the conceptual model that I propose that adopted from the Cooper. Okay, so I name it contextual based capital value process. So the first one is the existing CVP with initiate, select, define, execution for all project, and then I have to divide it into threshold and also the complexity of the project. For instance, for infill well, so it has it can directly initiate select without any decay in here, and also for maybe for non-business development and also for existing POD, a plan of development. So it can just directly to define without any initiate and select. So it will reduce the time for decision making. Okay, and then the chapter 4, it contains research findings, the data collection. So this is the fact. So if you can see here, this is 2021 data. So we have 36 projects in select phase and 37 projects in define phase. So if you can see here, 52%. So more of 50% capex for drilling works. And actually, this is a common work, a simple work with not the greenfield work has to be clearly defined from a detailed design. So this is only this. So the interview process, because it was during pandemic, so all using MST Microsoft Teams. Okay, this is the participant, about 22 people. So the demography here. So from director, advisor, VP, senior manager, and also asset manager. And also company also different from subholding, holding, zone, and regional. Okay, the qualitative data analysis. From the interview, I try to construct the code. So from here, okay. So for most coding from the code that I have tried to develop here. So PUDW, it is actually existing as CVP and digital system, corporate value, and organization culture. And then from here, I try to correlate those codes into decision-making process and organizational behavior. And then what can I propose from here? From decision-making process, I try to make a conceptual framework, and from the organizational behavior, it try to solve by research method. Okay. I try to define the code in here to categorize between all those code into leadership and system. From leadership, the code will be people, management, and mission. And from system, it will divide into plan, measurement, and method. From here, we can it is comparable with leadership and system. And most of the problem actually either the people and also the method. That's also the focus then on the research. Okay. From the accommodated root definition, this is the accommodated root definition. A system owned by subholding, which in the light of the corporate business process, define a digital system used by subholding regions and zones to implement capital value process classification with authorization to prove zones fields development proposal. The customer is zones, the operator, okay, and extras holding, subholding, region, and zone. Transformation process full CVP for all to be a classified CVP. And then the Wellensong digital system, the owners are holding, and the environmental constraint is the business process itself. chapter 5, discussion and analysis, it contains interpretation related to literature and also related to research question. The interpretation. So this is the result of the interpretation. So from region here, if you can see here, this is the activity in region, subholding and holding. So if you can see here, total activity in 2021 in region 119 activity means a meeting or get review something, and in subholding 188 and holding in 19. So actually the capacity per year, this is average is 240, 48, and 20. So if you can see here, it's clearly seen that subholding will be bottleneck. Okay, so I try to model it using dynamic system dynamic, using stock flow diagram. I convert it into the stock flow diagram because it can predict the behavior of the system by all the data from 2021. So I put in here. So let's see how's the result. And then this is the demography, the classification of the proposal. So 74% is infill. Infill is also only drilling. It is a typical job, actually, a simple job. So increased stock occur in GR in get review, get review 1, get review 2, get review 3, and subholding and holding. Okay, so this is the accommodated contextual based CVP model. So after using the accommodated contextual model, I try to figure out to predict how's the behavior of the system after using this model. Okay, so previously everything has to be started from beginning, from here. But with accommodated the contextual model, so it can be start from in the defined state. So directly here. So from the according to contextual model, the total time for review and approval are reduced. And however, bottleneck are potential happen in subholding. Okay, I'm sorry because I'm using the other laptop, so it should be on the graphic here. I'm sorry. Okay, but we can see from the data here, the subholding. So before 188, and then after it is only 45 disengaged. Yeah, but okay, the total time for review and approval are reduced. However, bottleneck are potentially happen in subholding because we can still now the accommodated contextual based CV model with delegation authority. It means that I propose because that was what implemented in the company, and then this is what I propose after find out that still occur the bottleneck in the subholding. Okay. So in here, I try to move the TRM, the technical review process, into a region, to the lower level of company. So below the subholding. So it will reduce significantly the activities in subholding. And also the threshold. The threshold also increase, means that most of the big investment can be decided by lower level of company. Okay, so this is the result. Subholding before 188, so after only 64. So in here also decrease, most of activity decrease, but the region increase. But actually region, there are 5 regions, so I think not I think, but it is still under their capacity. Okay, well, I'm sorry, it should be a graphic here because I'm sorry. So the interpretation, the total time for review and approval are reduced. The bottlenecks are potentially solved. Okay. And then conclusion and recommendation. The result from accommodated conceptual model shows that implemented contextual-based capital value process reduced 31% of total activities. However, the reduced activities mostly are in regions. There is high possibility bottleneck may still occur in subholding. Okay. So actually there are charts here that in region and subholding is very high, and in the holding low. This is the current situation. And the limitation, the scope of this research only took place in UEC, subholding, while most of policy decision in holding. And threshold is decided by BOD of holding through a notification letter, which is beyond of subholding authority. And delegating technical review from subholding to region requires rearrange again the organization in subholding and region. Okay, so lastly, the suggestion, delegate technical review meeting from subholding to region, and also delegate financial authorization one level from existing threshold. So from here, actually, there's a bar. From region is very high, and in here medium, and then the lower is holding. It is the perfect shape that should be. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the session is continued with question and comments. First, I would like to ask external examiner Dr. Eddie Hamdi to deliver some question or comments. And this is questions and comments, maybe give one by one, so the candidate can respond directly every question from the examiners. Okay, it's for you.
Thank you very much, Pak Dermawan. Hanto, first of all, I would like to congratulate you that you are already in this phase, especially for the Sidang Doktor. And secondly, I would like to appreciate the selected topics, which is, I would say it's one of the most discussed business process in the oil and gas industry, in a way that we need to make sure that the investment decision making is correct from the beginning. So because if it's known that is wrong, and the later stage, it will be very expensive. My question, the first question would be something to do with the decision-making process. It is written in your dissertation that decision-making is complex and full of uncertainty. And throughout the stage gate processes, typically one will see the uncertainty along the way, meaning that based on the maturity level on a particular stage, one may find that the uncertainty is not yet considered. Some of uncertainties is not yet considered. My question would be on the how do you distinguish between the challenges, the challenge processes throughout the stage gate process to dig out, to data mining, to ensure the uncertainty, and the processes of decision making. How then the challenge process is measured or can be predicted through this solution in a way that you propose a conceptual model? Is it only covering the decision making itself, or also to help us to justify whether the challenge to dig out the uncertainty is also portrayed or let's say described in this conceptual model? That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Eddie Hamdi. Okay, I will try to answer that because I'm using subsystem methodology. So actually, I try to accommodate all of the interests and all of the need of the stakeholder. In this case, is the management of the even subholding or holding. I try to grab what they want and then try to figure out how's the model to solve the problem. in here, I cannot say that it will tell you that the maturity of each level can be defined here, but during the interview, several activities what is it occur several times. The same review will be occur in several times. Let's say technical review sometimes has been reviewed in regional, but will be reviewed again in subholding with the same level of technical review, and then again in holding. So it is a repetitive technical review. So from the interview, I grab that maybe people from regional also not they also professional. They know what they do. So the repetitive of review will not what is it will not have the create the maturity more valuable than previously. Okay, so based on that, so for the project which is not sophisticated or not the greenfield project, so it can be cut the activities. So it's directly to define states or maybe from select states. That has to be from the initial state. So I think that's my answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Hanto, for the response for the first question. Especially for the first question, I would like to say that what should I say? The system dynamic itself, the system thinking itself, meaning that one may have different interpretation for the same set of information based on their own tacit, their own knowledge base, and so on. This may have influenced the process from the beginning. So all the scenario that had been set up from the beginning may have changed throughout the processes because there are different interpretation even for the same set of information. That's the basic of my question, but I believe, but so far I see you say that the repetitive process, the cascading process will help the system to dig out the uncertainty. Okay. The second question is something to do with the digital transformation. Throughout the writings, I could not so much elaboration on how the digital transformation, when you try to, let's say, to move from the paper-based to digital transformation, it will help us in terms of effectiveness. So because I'm afraid that the effectivity of the conceptual or the proposed model is only to reduce the cycle time, is only to reduce the time, I mean, the time-wise. But what about the tacit itself? I mean, it's clear in your writings that the decision-making is full of tacit, is full of interpretation, while the digital transformation or the digital concept may need someone to have a very, let's say, a precise, not a very precise in a way that it's fixed, but let's say does not have chances to change so much. Can you elaborate why digital transformation can help this, while in the case the decision making is a very complex one, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's why I made the 2 cycle of external research. The first one, I focus on the digital transformation. So I try to develop a system, the application, just to help decision making. So I try to digitalize all paperwork into a system. It cut the time for review, but actually it is not the answer. So it is very small amount of time that we can reduce by using the application. But actually, the system itself, the process business that has to be redefined. That's why in the second cycle of the acceleration, I try to improve the the business process model. The first cycle. Only the first cycle, because the first cycle I try to develop the application. So I try to digitize all paperwork into digital. So yes, the second cycle I only improve the business process. Yes, we need the digital application, but it is only tool to support the process, not to improve the business process.
The last question.
Okay, you still have 10 minutes.
Okay. And the last question is, I mean, as far as the dissertation goes, there are not only for the staging a gate, but also for the cascading, because you say clearly there is a holding, subholding, regional, and zone. So staging, I mean, it is written that some of limitations of the studies that most of the previous research is only for the single company.
Yeah.
While in this case, you are not only exercising the staging gate, but also to exercise how the staging gate impact the cascading one. The interesting fact that when we cascade all the authority, we may not cascading all, because some information may be different on each level of cascading. Let's say holding may have a different interpretation, while the zone, you said that the zone is the lowest part of execution, in this case the operation part, may also have a different interpretation. So how then you can be sure that this new context-based stage gate processes will help not only a linear one, I mean through the processes, the linear process, but also on the cascading level, because that's the challenge one. The challenging is each cascading may have different understanding for even the same set of processes. Please.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Yes, I mean, for the cascading. Sorry, I have to write again. Can you repeat again the question?
Okay.
Sorry.
So how then the proposed model can help us to see the effectiveness of the not only for the state gate, which is a linear one, and the cascading one,
Yeah.
so which is sometimes a top-down or bottom-up processes.
Okay. So from the proposed model in here, it is actually not affecting the threshold, and also not affecting the delegation of the authority. Yeah, that's what I propose in the final the interpretation, because when I saw the result, we still have bottleneck in the subholding. That's why I propose that maybe we can increase the threshold of each level, and also delegate the technical review into region. That's all. And I think regions is still have the same capacity to review technically, so it is not a problem just to escape the technical review from the subholding into the regional, and also the threshold, because this is an oil and gas project. So let's say 30 million is very cheap in oil and gas projects. So that's why every project, most of them will come to subholding and even holdings. So in holdings has to manage not only the upstream, it's also in the downstream, and also the support business. That's why the bottleneck will occur if you not do the upgrading the threshold of the upstream activities.
just to make it short.
Yeah.
When you propose the context base,
Yes.
is it the context in a way from the initial stage to the final stage?
Yeah.
Or also this context of each cascading one? Because I'm trying, because
Yeah,
maybe
it's only from the initial to the final state, because the staging from the zone to holding
Okay.
it depends on the threshold, not on the staging gate.
so the cascading one
Yeah,
is not part of the context base.
no, only
Okay.
the complexity of the projects.
So the threshold or
Yeah.
the delegation of authority, which
Yeah.
has big thing to do with the cascading,
Yeah.
is not part of the context base in this
No.
case. Okay. Thank you, Pak. Thank you, Pak Hanto.
Okay, thank you very much for questions from Dr. Edi Hamdi. And the second opportunity given to Dr. Gatot Widoko. It's time for you.
I would like to raise my first questions. Yeah. Okay. We have known that the approach, yeah, from Cooper has long been recognized. Yeah, its strengths, but also there are reminders, yeah, limitation or critics about this approach. Yeah. So my question is, how do you critically assess, yeah, the strength as well as limitation, yeah, of this approach, yeah, for your CPV, yeah, capital and a company in a well-established company, yeah, in which it has governance, management system, standard operating procedures. Please, your response.
Okay, thank you, Pak Gatot. Okay, from Cooper's model, so I saw that it always has a pilot project. So it is different with the oil and gas company. We don't have any pilot projects. It is usually a project which is directly to EPCI. So the pilot project will not be done by the company. It will be done by the service company or engineering company, which is part out of part of the project. So usually the CVP process, the capital value process in oil and gas company, it is only focus on the how's the reserve and how's the surface facility to develop to produce the reserve. That's also, so it's quite different. That's why I try to modify it from the state gate Coopers into the oil and gas CVP.
Okay. Okay. Good, Pak Hanto. Yeah. One of the strength, but also critic, yeah, from the state gate, yeah, is heavy emphasis on compliance, yeah, on compliance. And then, how do you respond to this critic? Yeah, perhaps, yeah, your proposed approach may suffer from this kind of unwanted effect. Yeah, the compliance. So, what do you think about this?
The compliance.
Yes. Yeah, compliance maybe to governance, to regulation, maybe to management system like ISO system being practiced by the company.
Okay, I try to answer it. The compliance of the certificate. Okay. Yes, of course. In every staging, it has to follow the code and standard and regulation that available in Indonesia and also in the oil and gas industries. So it is part of the review. So we can make a decision if all the requirement has been completed, such as maybe permit from the government, from the environment, the government. So it has to be completed before it can have decision from the management.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. My next question about on your proposed research methodology. Yeah. So if we look at your proposed context-based capital value process here in a well-established company, yeah, actually this can be approached from two different ways. Yeah. One is from the hard system science, and then the other one from the soft system science. But you are combining them. Yeah. So what are your reason, yeah? What are your justification to combine these two in your proposed research methodology?
Yeah, I try to combine them. I try to input the system dynamic into the subsystem methodology because I try to predict how the system behavior of the conceptual model that I propose. By using the system dynamic, I can see that the model that I propose can be implemented or not. How's the result? Is it as per expectation or not? So it is actually just to predict the behavior of systems.
Okay. Yeah, and then the result of your thematic coding, yeah, using NV4, yeah, you presented there are so many what I call like themes, super category into category, yeah. There are so many, yeah. So this represent number one, perhaps complexity, yeah. The second one, perhaps unclarity. So how do you eventually organize these differences into your proposed conceptual model, yeah? Is there any logic model or approach, yeah, to organize these various wide different perception from your interview?
Okay. Can I share the screen here?
Your result, yeah? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. From here, well, actually, I just using the well, I forget it. Yes, actually, I try to make the grouping of the coding. So I try to grouping based on the let's say from business and decision making and investment. It is related to management. So I grouping into management, and then the same thing as mission and also the other which is what is mostly related to. Then I try to categorize grouping them into subcategory. Then from those subcategory, I try to just to view how is it impact to. Is it impact to the leadership or system? Because I want to try to divide the category into two, leadership and system. That's why I try to collect them, those coding to subcategory, and then grouping just relate them to which category is it relation. I think that's
Pak Hanto, how do you maybe maintain the quality, yeah, because of your subjective judgment in organizing the coding?
well. Actually, I try to after develop this coding, I try to have a feedback from the interviewee. Has it been accommodated their interest or not? So then their confirmation will be the quality check of the coding and also the category that I present here.
Okay. My last questions, yeah.
Okay.
I think the result of this coding, actually, this is from the bottom-up approach, yeah. Like we rely more on the interpretivism, yeah, subjective judgment of the researcher, yeah. How do you compare, yeah, the result with the literature review? To what extent you discover big differences? Also, you discover novelty, or some of them may be confirmed, yeah, to the existing theories, concept available in the previous research. So what is your reflection upon your result?
Okay. My reflection of the result in terms of the theory.
Mhm.
So yes, actually, it is effective for the practice in oil and gas industries
Mhm.
because it can reduce about 31%.
Mhm.
It is an actual measurement in 2021 of the duration for decision making.
Mhm.
In terms of method, well, I can predict the behavior. So and also after implemented, it is actually reduce the time. So I think it also affected. Yes, but I still have not an issue, but also find out that I still have something that need to improve
Mhm.
because I still found that there is a bottleneck in subholding upstream. That will be the next issue that need to be covered.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. And the next opportunity given to Dr. Santi Novani.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First, I would like to congratulate to Pak Hanto for your achievement so far.
Thank you.
I think your topics is quite interesting because it's relevant with the oil and gas company development. And then in your thesis dissertations, you use the soft system methodology and also system dynamic. Means that soft system methodology, best action research here is the primary methodology, and you combine with the system dynamic as the additional step to compare the model in your context here in the oil and gas company. So my first questions is, I'm curious about, because this is the problematic situations, especially in the oil and gas company. So how you can describe the process of the structuring the problems by involving many decision makers here, and then how you can predict the conceptual model that you propose, and then it will become implemented in the oil and gas company. Please, Pak.
Thank you very much for the question, Ibu Santi. So I'm involved in the process of revising this process in the company. So I'm part of the team, and also I know who are the stakeholders of decision making from the zone up to holding. So that's why I try to figure out the participants that need to be interviewed. So from 40 candidates, only half of them available and can be interviewed for this research. So I have mapped about 40 stakeholders from management.
Okay, this is actually the next, you said that from 40 candidates for the decision makers become 22, right?
Yes,
If I'm not mistaken, I saw in your draft. So I think it is connected with Pak Gatot's questions. You interview all of the stakeholders or the decision makers, by using the interview, and then this transcript using the online applications here using NVivo, and you try to figure out what is the perception from all of the stakeholders here using the rich picture, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you elaborate more from each transcript that you got from the interview become the rich picture? What is step by step when you construct the rich picture?
Okay. From the interview, I use N5, so it is a map. Then I try to find out the coding. So what is the most word on that, and then from that word, what is the statement of those people. So and then I try to read most of the statement. So what is related to? Then from there, so it becomes the problem or the maybe also the solution that need to be accommodated. That's why I try to move that issue into the rich picture. So I try to figure out in the rich picture from there.
So in your rich picture, so it's facilitate the consensus from the decisions makers that you interview, or all of the participants or the stakeholders, it's have on the preferences or the perception.
So I can the interviewees actually from all the level. So what I put in the picture actually represent the company on average stage that I interviewed.
So the representations of the decision maker
Yes.
you took in the rich picture.
Yes.
Okay, and then the next about actually still about the process, yeah, in the SSDM itself. So I also interested in order to get the process of the transformation that we construct, yeah, in the stage 3, which is how we actually develop the CAT2 analysis or the root definition here. So in order to get the accommodated model, yeah, I think it is very crucial when you conduct the subsystem modeling approach. So how the process become I think many root definitions that you got, yeah, from the result of the interview, but how the process you get from the all of the many root definitions become the accommodated root definition. Is there any methods that you use to construct the accommodated root definitions? Please.
Well, I think I'm just using the interpretation. I've tried to make a definition of its interviewee that representing institution, such as from zone or from regional or from a subholding, etc. So and then from those root definition, I try to find the red line, the thin red line of those root definition, and make a accommodated root definition that cover all of this interest from its stakeholders from those root definitions. So that's what I did.
Okay, so it means that you make the structuring problems method there in
Yeah.
order to make it structures, and then we get some accommodated root definition. Is it
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one about actually what AD mentioned also. Yeah, it is related with the action research. Yeah, in the study, I think you use the dual imperative action research, which is in the first stage. Yeah, it talks about the how actually you want to analyze. Yeah, and then it becomes some digital transformations. However, I think when apply directly to the current systems, yeah, there are actually some obstacle in the decision making. So can you elaborate what kind of the obstacle become to the digital transformation that you want in the company?
Yes, the obstacle actually the people behavior, because it is actually related to the management or higher management, which has so not easy to ask them to use the laptop or key in into the system just to review and then accept through the system. Usually they only just house the summary, the result, and then sign. So it is a manual thing. usually everything in digital done by their subordinates. So I think the digital system will be only digitize the system, but not carrying the time for review and approval.
Okay. So, and then for the first implementation in the first cycle, then in the second cycle, yeah, so you need to change the business process, as you mentioned in your dissertations. But I believe to change the business process, yeah, from the current business process into the new business process, I think also it needs some change and also some challenges as well. How you can predict or how you can challenge, yeah, especially in the management in the oil and company, so the business process can be successfully modified to change the decision making process here.
Yeah, actually the trigger is the reorganization. So as I mentioned previously, that in 2020, there are reorganization in the corporate up to the zone to the operator to the lower level of companies. So it also changed the business process. That's the trigger. Why don't we just also improve the business process? And then because the existing business process also also not accepted by all the operators because they only have a small project, only a common project, not a big project, but it has to follow the staging that very long. That's why when we initiate the contextual based model, they all accepted, and also from the management, because we still keep the existing CVP for the big project, which need to be measured to be have a maturity review carefully stage by stage.
Okay, I think that's enough from me. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Ibu Santi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Santi. And the next opportunity given to Dr. Josunitioso that come from the online system. Can you hear us?
Yes, Chairman. I can
Okay,
hear
it's
you.
time for you.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. And congratulations, Pak Hanto, to go this far. My apology, I couldn't be there at your final stage of your study.
Thank you.
I have several questions. The first one related to the system dynamic model that you developed. And so you basically combine SSM and system dynamic, and that means because that's two different there's soft system with hard system that you do, and you try to accommodate the perspective of different stakeholders, in the SSM, and while in your system dynamic you want to model the decision making process in there. So my question is on how you accommodate the process of accommodation from the system SSM to system dynamic model. And then you also have several feedback loops between preceding and succeeding gates that you have. Can you explain on that as well?
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Yos, for the question. Okay, so the system dynamic actually like a snapshot capturing the activities in 2021. So we have data from 2021. It is a quantitative data. So I try to put it as an input for system dynamic, and just to figure out how's the result using the conceptual model that I proposed. Then the qualitative data, the accommodating from the stakeholders represented by developing the conceptual model. So actually, it is not directly embedded, but it's only tool for predicting the system that I propose.
And how do you validate the model?
Okay, so I try to validate the model because I have also the previous data. So using the data and then how's the actual result, and then from the actual result from the model, I compare what happened in the actual. That's that just to check to confirm that the model of SD has been qualified for testing this model.
Yeah, is there any communication or discussion with the stakeholder regarding the causal loop diagrams or stochastic diagram that you develop?
I only check from data. So I have previous data. So I try to input all the data. Then we know the results. So from there, then I can predict if the data it is input, then we know what will happen next.
Okay. My second question is related with the outcome of or the output, the output of your system like model that you found there are potential bottlenecks in some decision gates in subholdings, and your suggestion is to delegate some of the activities to the region.
Yes.
That's the suggestion. My related to that, how this can be done? Yeah, what activities that can be delegated, or what if you increase the capacity of subholdings? Will that be solving the problem compared to delegation, as you suggest?
Okay. Yes. Increasing the source or the capacity of the subholding may solve the problem, but I don't think it is good enough because the subholding itself become very big, and it is an overhead actually to the overall corporation. So delegating the technical review to region, I think the simple way just cascade all people from the subholding into region. So there is no repetitive work. So only technical done in regional. That's the simple way that I propose just to move the technical review into regions.
Okay, my last question. You said in the beginning that there are 3 contributions that you propose, or you plan: theoretical, conceptual, methodological, and practical. Can you briefly explain those contributions, whether they are achieved in your study, or fully achieved, or partly achieved, or what? Yeah.
Yes, it is fully achieved actually for the practically and also the methodology and the theory itself. So I think it is fully achieved, but it is different issue that not covered in this in study about the delegation of the authority.
Can you briefly mention what are the theoretical, conceptual, what are the methodological, and what are the practical contributions?
Okay. Yes, the theory contribution by developing the new conceptual model for the capital value process of oil and gas development, the contextual based CVP, as I mentioned. And then for the methodological, by proposing a combination between subsystem methodology and the detachable system dynamic, and practical by improving the policy practice in the industry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you very much. And the last opportunity given to the promoter, Professor Utomo Saturnoputro. It's time for you.
Thank you, Chair. Pak Hanto, appreciate first of all, I appreciate that you pick up problem in your companies become the topic of your dissertation and try to make improvement on the problem. So this appreciate on this. My question is, as we know that combining SSM and system dynamic already done by Rodriguez. So you also combining SSM and system dynamic. So my question is, what is difference between your combination, your research and Rodriguez research? Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much for the question, Prof. Tomo. So the difference between Rodriguez and the methodological that I propose, because I'm using the detachable system into SSM. So not a combination, a blended combination of the system. Rodriguez just blend the system dynamic into the system, the subsystem methodology. So it is a part of the system. But I propose is actually SSM with a detachable SD. So that's the different, the main difference, I think.
So what is the benefit of detachable system dynamics compared with the non-detachable system dynamic?
So I can easily maybe ignore the system dynamic to predict the behavior of the conceptual model, just directly compare with the real world, and then put the action just an SSM, common SSM.
Okay, so my next question is, how do you translate the conceptual model into system dynamic? Because we know that in conceptual models, it is not a variable-based model. It is a human activity model. But in system dynamic model is a variable-based model. So how do you translate activity-based human activity model to variable model?
Okay. So I try to so from the interview, okay, that's I try to grab the human activity model, and then from there I try to make a coding, and then from the coding, I know what need to be improved then. So from that, I try to make the conceptual model after construct the code from the interview.
Okay, my last question. After constructing the system dynamics, we have also invite the stakeholder to review the model. How do you this? How do you this review from stakeholder?
Well, I invite them into one of the FGD. I present the result of the analysis, and then there is not much challenge about that, because we also in progress in redefine the business process. So they are just accepting what I've presented.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Professor Utomo. Ladies and gentlemen, we just finished the sessions of dissertation defense, and then I ask your patient to give opportunity to Graduate School Commission to conduct evaluation meeting. Then I will suspend this session for about maximum 15 minutes because it's Friday. Thank you.